evening, everyone. Rotor Talk Live, Season 6, Episode 8, Drones coming in 2023. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. We're just going to jump right into it and greet everybody here. All right. Let's see who we got. Let's get all the way to the top here. Okay, Drone Shots, 107 Drones, Trainee Weeks, Michael Wright, Jay Bird, Leonard Oglesby, let's see who else we got. Matt Bagwell, Floyd Moats, welcome, Floyd. Lauren, welcome. Richard, welcome. Let's see who else we got. Lauren, welcome. I'm pretty sure I said that already. Rich Flyer 32. Dr. Ted Wells in the house. Welcome. Let's see who else we got. Flying Flynn Media, welcome. USA Drone Flyer, welcome. Going through here. Art, welcome. Hope you had safe travels back home. Let's see who else we got. All right. All right. John K. Trini. Okay. All right. Got a lot. I do have a lot to talk about tonight. There's not a lot out there, but I do have a lot that I want to cover tonight. Of course, Ron and Marcus are going to join me here in a little bit. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about, and I think Ron and I kind of touched on this a little bit, is a technology stalemate, okay? And, for example, we brought up smartphones. I'm an Android guy, and Samsung just got out their new S23, and I have an S22 right here, okay? And we were talking about it, and the big differences are in the camera, and but we're getting to a point, and this is just an example. You can bring drones into the equation too. Like, how much more technology can you pack into something like this size here? Okay. Great cameras on these things, they're fantastic. They get better each time around. But how much more technology can you actually add to this? And how much more, what will it do for us? What kind of benefits? And you can apply it in the same way to drones. Okay. The incremental improvements that we're getting. All right. We have been getting some better battery life. That's true. Cameras have been getting better. Okay. So the software has been getting better. We got to deal with remote ID. That's coming around the board. But, with DJI drones, it looks like most of them will be able to have it on board, so you won't have to add it to after the fact. So, where are we? I'm throwing this out there just as a, just kind of going out there right now. Matt, Matt Bagwell on the S23, that is an incredible phone. I'm glad my S22, it does take better pictures than my Z Fold. Okay. I will say that. But I used to be really excited about phones, but it's just gotten to where it's like incremental. But the S23's camera is really awesome. And it really has taken the place of the Note, because there's a pen in there now. I was a big Samsung Galaxy Note fan, but they put the pen in there, the Note pen in there now. So, all right, moving on. Okay, I just wanted to kind of, what was I doing? I don't even know what I was doing. Okay. I stumbled across this today just by accident, that there was a update to the Fimi Navi 2020 app. And I'm going to show this to you. It's just a screenshot that I have from my group, from my Fimi group. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get that up there here. All right. Fimi Navi 2020 1.0.38.20305 2023-02-21. So it came out today. Okay. And if you, obviously none of us can read this, but there you go. Solve some mobile phone compatibility issues And number 2, fix some known issues to improve stability and user experience. Okay. It's an update. You know, that's good because, we getting more androids on better is always a good thing, and fixing some known issues to improve stability in user experience, that's minor tweaks here and there kind of a thing. But I thought it was real interesting that they did do an update here, and kind of tying in with the main segment that we're going to talk about tonight, drones in 2023, probably in September, maybe August. I'm not quite 100% sure, but we're going to see a replacement for the FIMI X8 SE 2022. Okay. I've heard that from several sources, and they are reliable sources. And these are ones that are KOLs for FIMI. They do testing for them. So, I am excited about that. And I can tell you this, that I will hit the buy button on something like this because I'm really excited. Because, for me, the FIMI X8 SE 2022 it's one of those drones that's almost there. Oh, don't forget a Fly app update, Lauren. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll get to that here in a minute, but thank you for bringing that up. Okay. The FIMI X8 SE 2022 and the 2020, these versions, they're just a step away from being what I would consider on par with some of with even like the Mini. Okay. Like the Mini 2. I won't say the Mini 3, but the Mini 2 in terms of their capabilities. And if they can get this Horizon issue taken care of once and for all, which I think it's more of a hardware thing than a software thing. If they can get that solved, if they can get a better gimbal and access in there, their camera's fantastic. There's no question about that. If they can get that and get a stable platform, one that communicates well, one that doesn't have drop signals, because you guys know my experiences with my my first FIMI, dropping out. FIMI sent me a new one, and it did take care of it, but those dropping out of those signals, I didn't have that with any other drone, even my brief experience with the Hubsan Zeno. So FIMI's just they're a step away. They're not they're not they're on the cusp here. They're really on the cusp of it. So, that's just one of these things that, we're going to wait and see. And I'm really excited about this. And yeah, it's probably one of the, besides the Air 3, which we're going to talk about in the 2023 drone segments here. Those are the two that I'm most excited about this year. Of course, can't really think about, well, and we'll get to that later in terms of what the other drones are. But that's just that just for me, I think is really, really, really interesting. So, and Rex is in the house. Welcome, Rex. Akarasha is here too. Silas Seeger's in the house. Welcome. Chris Hope is in the house. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you here tonight. That's just one of these things. FIMI just they can take a big step with this, and I think this is important. All right, just totally random, totally off the wall here. Okay, not really having anything to do with drones, but how many of you here in the United States, of course, okay, how many of you have done your taxes already? Just a yes or a no. That's all I want to see. I'm just curious. Okay, we haven't done ours. Probably gonna do it in a couple weeks. And I'm just curious as to see if you guys have done them or not. I'm not even talking about refunds or anything, but thank you, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not yet. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. I'm getting a lot of no's. No, because I make too much. Well, probably or Jaybird. Yeah. That kind of, yeah, that really does that. Hey, Lauren, I'm out on, and I'm going to show this to you. I know what you posted here, because I hadn't seen it, and I'm out on DJI's website right now, and they're showing that the latest is V1.9.4, and I've already, it's already updated to 1.9.4. So, if you have some other kind of information on this, message me on, or email me at bill the drone reviewer at gmail.com, and I'll get the link up there. But this is what I get for the latest for the DJI Fly app. Just want to let you know that. And of course, there's DJI's wonderful little pop-up up there. So, okay. Rex, you're lucky. My roommate from college was an accountant. In fact, he's CPA. Brilliant. He passed while taking finals in college. He passed like 6 of the 7 parts. He just had one part left. I thought that was pretty amazing during taking college finals. So, okay, we're going to move on here. Sorry about that. I'm just kind of digressing here. Sorry about all that. Okay. And a personal note, I'm feeling a lot better from COVID. Not there 100% yet. Okay. Still got a cough, especially when the air conditioning comes on and it gets really dry. I get to hacking. My fever's still kind of there too. So I'm kind of hoping to get a complete breakthrough on that without having to take Tylenol, which is a real pain in the butt. So, all right. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. The DJI Action 2 had a firmware update, and there was an article from Drone DJ about that. So we're going to go ahead and get that up here. DJI Action 2 gets gyro stabilization, better Android 13 support. Okay. New firmware package V01.04.05.10 packs in 2 major highlights: ability for the camera to embed gyroscopic data directly into video files, and improve compatibility with the Android 13. The addition of gyro metadata is particularly exciting because no other DJI Action camera supports gyro flow. And such Action 2 users will now be able to achieve better video stabilization in post processing. Okay, but that's very interesting. Photo cameras and compact action cameras rely on EIS applied in real time based on gyro sensor data. And finally, video editing packages are used to stabilize the video based on an estimated camera motion, which could be unreliable. So where GyroFlow comes into play. GyroFlow is a post-processing video stabilization software based on log motion data. With the help of precise lens calibrations, rolling shutter correction, and tweakable stabilization algorithms, GyroFlow can produce gimbal-like stabilization with no or minimal weight penalty. It also works regardless of lighting conditions or moving subjects. Okay. The camera needs to be set up in a specific manner, and it goes into stabilization off, FOV wide, resolution, and it shows it right here. You also need to download and install the latest version of GyroFlow and make sure the relevant JSON files of Action 2 already exist. Okay. In addition to Action 2, other DJI products support GyroFlow include Avata and the O3 Air Unit. Okay. That's very interesting. Okay. That they've added this. For me, I'm just like EIS, put the stabilization on there, good to go for me. I'm I'm fine with it. I spoke too soon about my coughing. Okay, just yeah, that's just I hear you, but that's an interesting piece of news. Is from DJI. So Action 2, Marcus has had good luck with the Action 2. He's enjoyed it. I think he's done a review on it. Please go out and check on that. Another side note before we get to our next topic. We actually had decent weather here this weekend, believe it or not. And I've done something. It's the first time I've been out to fly since I had COVID. Okay. And it's been a month. Trust me. Okay. Those of you that have had it, you know what it's like. and you know how easily you get fatigue of it. Jay Bird, I'll get your whiskey Curacao with a touch of lemon and honey. Yeah, Chris, you are so right with that. Okay, that was my grandfather. My grandfather came over from Europe, from Hungary, and he had that all the time. And boy, that cured a lot of ills. And my dad followed in suit too. So yeah, that does work. I can tell you that 100%. Okay, Maddie, welcome. Good seeing you here. Yeah, Billy Tompkins, welcome. Good to see you. Ken Dono's review on the Action 2 Gyroflow update. Michael, thank you for posting that. Guys, you guys are stellar in the chat. I got to call you out, okay? All of you. You keep things updated in the chat. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate that. Okay. Jay Bird, I want to answer your question. What's your opinion of the Mavic 3 updates with the waypoints in night mode? Okay. Love night mode. I've taken a flight with that, and I'm not a night guy, night flying type of person, and I was real impressed with that. I thought it did a great job. Waypoints are really good, but you got to make sure you have download a map of the area that you're going to be using the waypoints in. In your little small box on your DJI Fly app, and there's videos out there to show you how to do it. So both waypoints and that I'm impressed with. I think they did a good job. I think they can kind of tweak waypoints a little bit because I know they've had some issues with that. For me, on the phone versus the DJI RC Pro. So, but all in all, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. So, all right. What was I talking about? Oh, I was telling you, I got out to fly. Okay. Just, the weekend before, I was feeling good enough to go out. 49 to over 50 mile an hour wind gusts out there. My SUV in the Highlander going down the road, like all over the place. Okay. My wife and I went out. Was it last weekend? Trying to think. The weekend before when we went out for our wedding anniversary, it was like, so we could drive it's to Melting Pot, and it's like, Michael, thank you for pointing that out. The FAA has just announced night flying through LANNC for recreational pilots. Very, very good. Very, very good. That's interesting. That's a real interesting update. One of the things that I want to say, and I'm going to get to my next topic here in a minute, but I don't even have a screen for this. I wish the FAA would really get its act together and just, I know Ron and Marcus had a great show on. They had, I think, Greg from Pilot Institute and another gentleman, and they did a great job covering all that's going to go on with community-based organizations. I talked about that a little bit on One Rotor Talk as well too, and for recreational flying versus Part 107 flying and everything. But one of the things I really wish FAA would really kind of get itself together, get its act together, because it's like information overload right now, and they need to get a concise web page up there telling you, kind of like an FAQ or Q&A or something like that to point you in the right direction, because it's just on information overload with remote ID, community-based organizations, whether you're flying Part 107, whether you're flying as a hobbyist, it's just there's a lot out there, guys. There is a lot out there, and I think it's they throw so much out there, and I think Greg may have mentioned something because I did watch that. I don't stay up to watch Drone Nation because I get up at 0:30 every day for work, so like 5:30. So that's why I'm usually not watching. But I watched the replay, and I think Greg may mention something about the fact. Now I'm pretty sure his name was Greg, about the FAA really kind of getting themselves together and getting them in line. And I'm going to draw this in here. You know, one of the things I can tell you is from my experience with the FCC and being an amateur radio person, ham radio person, FCC's really kind of got its act together. Okay. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I think they really kind of have it down to a science and do it well. And, you know, that's one of the things I'm real happy about. Oh, and a shameless plug. I have Ham Radio Basics Live Wednesday, 7 p.m. I have Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 on tomorrow night. Jason's one of the he has over 100,000 subscribers. One of the great guys on ham radio. So I know Floyd's joined me a couple of times. Some of you others have joined me as well. Just wanted to get that shameless plug in for my other channel. So there you go. All right, moving on here. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I was on my soapbox here. Okay. DJI Inspire 3 update. I don't think we covered this last week, but I wanted to make sure that I brought this up here. Now, this was a picture on, this wasn't Deal's drone, but it was a Cedalo. And let's go ahead and get that up here. Okay, Inspire 3 may have been sent to KOLs for beta tests. Okay, and you can tell it looks bigger than the original. You know, you're looking at it from behind, but you know, it really does look a lot bigger as far as the physical size of the drone is concerned. You know, the batteries look to be in a different position. Just trying to get some glimpses of what's going on here. Don't know if that's a lens that's on the floor right there or part of, there's a lot of wires that are hooked up to this. So I don't know if they're trying to get data from it or not, but you know, my guess for this, and you know, I could be way off here. I know Lauren said I was probably way off on price here. Yeah, Rex. Yeah, I hear you. The FAA, yeah. And trust me, I can get on a soapbox about that for a long time. You know, Inspire 3, my guess is we'll see it probably, I would say March, April, maybe, probably April is my guess. It'll probably be, you know, just right on the cusp of first quarter. You know, and I know Lauren said I'd be surprised at the pricing. So I'm really anxious to see what the pricing is going to be on this and what comes with a basic package on there. And, you know, how much capital I have to raise to get one. No, I'm just kidding. But if DJI, if you're out there and you want somebody else to test it, you just email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com and I will be more than happy to oblige, something like that. But seriously, that is going to be an incredible drone. It's going to be for professionals. I know I've said this before. It's going to be for, let me put it this way, professional content creators who have a big checkbook, okay, who have deep pockets, because it's going to cost a pretty penny. All right, that's just my guess. You know, I know what I've said already, and I know what Lauren's told me as far as that's concerned. So we'll see where we're going with that. But that's my thoughts on that. Probably April. I said March. I'm thinking more like April. We'll see this. It'll be out there and available. So we'll see. So never know. All right. Okay. Oh, I got another update. I'm sorry. I'm not even. I'm with it. Okay. I promise. I really am with it. So, okay. Now, NYPA, Skydio received FAA waiver for beyond visual line of sight drone inspections. Okay, this is big. This is big news here. The New York Power Authority is taking another step. They obtained an FAA waiver for BVLOS at Blenheim Gilboa Pump Storage Power Project in partnership with Skydio. Skydio helped guide its request through the FAA's evaluation process. Deployment of the craft on BVLOS missions in partnership with Skydio is an extension. I'm just trying to see. Skydio NYPA has about 40 drone pilots, 40 trained drone pilots on staff, hardly enough to cover its sprawling infrastructure on a daily basis. But both its BVLOS application FAA across heavily rely on the automated capabilities of Skydio craft. Real interesting here. It doesn't say which Skydio. If I, I'm thinking it's the commercial version and not the version that we can purchase. That's just off the top of my head. But I think it's, hey Johnny, welcome. Good to see you tonight. I think this is great. It's a step in the right direction because when more of these companies are starting to get beyond visual line of sight to be able to do these inspections, that's going to benefit everybody. I think that's going to be great. It's also too, if you have gas detection or natural gas detection on some of these drones, they go out there, or it's a hazardous area, the drone can stand the chemicals and can get out there where humans can't. So I think this is a win-win kind of a thing. So there'll be more on that, I'm sure, but it kind of piqued my interest when I saw this article today. So I thought I'd want to share it with you. And again, just as a reminder, everything that I share with you is out on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group and page. So make sure you guys get out there and take a look at this. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. I know most of you that are in the chat right now are watching me through YouTube, but I do live stream to Twitter as well too. And I've been doing that, and I've gotten some positive feedback for that. So, I mean, I know it cuts down on my views here, but I think it's a good thing. It's another platform and people are watching. So, it all counts. It's all good. Okay. As far as that's concerned. So anyway, all right. You want to move on here. I don't have, last week, I just put out a video from our talk last week about, there he is.
What's going on, Bill?
Not much, man. Not much. We're kind of like getting ready for you and Ron here. You're hitting the right time.
Got ya. Well, I'm getting my mic in place. So,
well, I gotta say this, and I was telling everybody just a few minutes ago, I went out for the first time to fly in a month yesterday, it was this weekend, Sunday, after COVID, and then last weekend we had 49-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, it was just and I actually felt good enough last weekend to be able to go out, but the winds were it was just ridiculous. I couldn't even think about it. And this weekend I was able to get out, and I got a couple of really good flights, and I was really pleased.
Good.
That was real nice.
I mentioned to fly myself. It's been the weather here just hasn't been conducive. I might have been able to fly today, but again, like you said, it was really windy all day long, and a drone like the Mavic 3 probably would fly okay. However, it's no fun standing in the wind and flying like that.
It really isn't. I mean, I was telling everybody, these 49-mile-an-hour wind gusts. My SUV, I have a Highlander. It's not small, okay? It's like doing this, rocking me back and forth as I'm going down the highway, and I'm like, wow, okay. It's just, it wasn't a good day to drive either. I mean, it was just, you just want to stay inside kind of a thing. I just went over the Inspire 3. We just talked about that a little bit. And my guess is I'm thinking we'll probably see that maybe April-ish kind of a time frame. I don't know what Lauren has to say about that, but that's what I'm thinking in terms of when it's going to be available. Because we're going to see the Mini 2 SE in March. That's coming in March. So I think April is kind of logical that'll happen then.
Right. I got to be honest with you. The Inspire 3 for me, it almost just doesn't even come up on my radar because I know it's more of a professional drone. It's just not something that I would ever own. The only time it really piqued my interest is when Billy Kyle told me, he goes, "Yeah, it'll fly 60 miles an hour." I'm going, "Hey."
Well, with the improvements that they have on it, it really does look bigger than the Inspire 2. But you really got to be, I don't want to use the word technically astute, but you really got to have your senses about you when you're flying something like that, because it's a whole different ball game. Because I've seen people fly Inspires, and I know that it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and energy. And it's just not like flying a Mavic 3, okay, or a Phantom 4. It's a whole different ball game.
Well, you need a big Toyota SUV to haul it around too.
Yeah. You're gonna have to, the back seats down, that kind of a thing. That thing is big, and so I more for curiosity's sake for me, but I think there's going to be some content creators who have deep pockets will probably get Inspire 3s. Maybe somebody like Potato Jet, along those lines. Maybe some of our friends may be testing the Inspire 3 right now. We don't know. That could be happening. So
I'm just messaging Ron, Bill. He goes, "What's happening to Bill's show?" So I don't know if he's clicking on the wrong link or what, but I just told him, I said, "Hey, I'm on." So
good. Mini 2 SE. Okay. We went over it last week. It hit the FCC database. It's coming out on the 20th. What I thought was real interesting, and here he is. Hey, Ron.
Hello, Bill. Marcus. Sorry, I must have some technical difficulties. I must have clicked into an old show, like I clicked into I said Rotor Talk Live, but nobody was there. I was hoping you didn't get what happened that one time when the police came. Swatted, or what did they call it?
Yeah, swatted. Yeah. No swatting here tonight. We're good.
Maybe that Mini 2 SE got swatted or something, but
yeah, it could be. And we were just talking about that. We went over that last week. We talked about it being on the FCC database and everything, and which means it's out there for approval. It's just kind of interesting, and this is something I wanted to ask you guys about the timing on this. Okay, that February 9th is when they make the announcement. And then actually it was on the 9th that it did hit the FCC database. We just didn't find out about it till next week. And then it's not available for sale till the 22nd. And I think
let's kind of correct something in there. They made the announcement in Australia and New Zealand and maybe other parts of the world, but it still isn't on the front of DJI's website or anything. Marcus found it by digging, but unless you knew it existed, you would never find it.
Yeah. And I find it real curious. And I think a lot of this has to do with supply chain kind of stuff and logistics and getting these to the countries that they're going to sell them in.
Let me ask you this, though, Bill. So our friend Ryan Duvall yesterday found on Costco's website, they are selling online. I don't know if it's available in stores, but they have a Mini 2 package. Mini 2, I believe an SD card, a case, and 2 batteries for $369. It's on their website. I went and checked it out myself. So clearly they're producing products. So what would be the difference between producing a Mini 2 and a Mini 2 SE? And it also begs, at that price, why wouldn't you just buy the Mini 2?
And do you think they'll sell the Mini 2 and the Mini 2 SE side by side, or maybe are they trying to clear out Mini 2 inventory first? Well, let me ask a double question. When the original Mini SE came out, was the original I think they call it Mavic Mini. Was the original Mavic Mini still available to purchase, or did they wait until that was kind of gone? Do we
I thought they
remember?
waited. I thought they waited. That's my.
Okay.
It's been a while. I can't really remember.
You really
100%.
when the Mini 2 SE came out, the first one, you could not really buy a Mavic Mini new or whatever. I mean, I'm sure refurbs and used ones are around forever, but okay, I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of curious, DJI's logic and thinking and just the whole thing, because I know it still hits me, and I still get a few questions every day about why didn't they come out with a Mini 3 SE, and and I'm like, yeah, that's a you know, and and the other thing is, to both of to both of your points is, you know, it's the same exact drone. They're just dumbing down the software for the camera. Okay. It's exactly the same, and they're sticking another label on it and dumbing down the software, and they're sending it out the door. And why there's a holdup and a delay and all this, and like you said, you had to hunt and peck to try to find it on the website, kind of a thing. It's just like, it's not
Yeah.
really making a lot of sense.
And what's even going to make less sense is Ross Langdon from Australia told us when you looked on the Australian website that they said that drone will start shipping at the end of February for people, in Australia. So that means, and today's already the 21st or something like that.
Yeah,
That
today's
means
21st.
maybe a week or so from now, the first people in Australia will be receiving it, and we'll see unboxing and reviews on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll be coming out. I got to say this. I've gone and looked at some Australian websites, DJI prices there. I don't know. How Ross and our friends afford all that stuff down in Australia. The pricing down there is just insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what the value between the dollar is in between, their currency down in Australia, but boy, looking at those prices, they look pretty high.
And I have a good friend, Dave, man, there's Koopy, somebody's in there. I can't remember Dave's last name off the top of my head, but Dave lives in Perth, Australia. And he's been telling me and everybody listen for years that the DJI stuff is higher in Australia, not just because of the conversion, it's actually marked up, and the conversion both, that he could never afford a DJI drone because of basic, like a DJI tax for Australians. They were much higher even before the conversion kicked in.
Wow. That just kind of floors me. One of the things that I wanted to do in conjunction with this, okay, because I want to look ahead at least another 3 more months here, maybe towards the middle of the year, with what else DJI is coming out. And we already talked about the Inspire 3 a little bit. The Air 3 is going to be on the horizon, okay, and I think that's the drone everybody is like, their ears are up, their eyes are open, and they're like ready to rock and roll on this.
Right.
I don't see it coming out probably until maybe a May kind of a time frame.
And that's what we were looking at off Deals with Drone timeline, right?
Yeah, and that's what and that's kind of fits into the timeline. Now, and I know, Ron, you and I, and I think Marcus was on too, but you and I talked about how, okay, Samsung came out with their new S23, okay, and how much more of an improvement is it over the S22? All right, and I kind of talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the show tonight. The technologies of the technology, kind of a stalemate thing. Okay, what are they going to put on the Air 3? All right, to make it better than the Air 2S. All right. And, it's like, okay, there are several areas. Battery, are they going to improve battery life? I'm sure they will. They'll find a way to do that.
They better.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, on that platform. Okay. Keep it the same relative size. I think that's an important thing, because if you get too much bigger,
Bulk it up. Yeah.
Mavic 3, you enter into Mavic 3 kind of a territory. Camera on that, okay, they're gonna make some improvements in tweaking the camera. They're probably gonna do panorama. They're probably gonna do vertical and horizontal with the gimbal on it, like the Mini 3 Pro, which I think is a good thing, because I think that's real popular on a lot of social
Bill,
media
that will take a
platforms.
little design of the front end of the drone to give that gimbal the ability to tilt all the way up. So it will have to be some kind of a cutout there in the front.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some kind of cutout there. You're right. And, so, there's design challenges with this as well.
Look
What?
up, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like the Mini 3, could it be that kind of style of body where the camera could look up as well?
Yeah. I
You
think
you don't think this will look like an oversized Mini 3, do you?
I think it could.
it could. I think, yeah, that's a good point, Ron.
A Mini 3 on steroids, or
Probably.
wow.
And you'll see
bulked up. The Mini 3 went to gym and bulked up.
bulked up. Yeah. I got some, didn't do the steroid thing, but yeah. This is a good point here because, it's going to bulk up. It's going to be bigger than obviously, but it wants to keep the same size as the Air 2S. And I think that's important. What other kind of features are they going to be able to add to this to say, you know what, I got to hit that buy button. I got to have that.
I got to sell my Air 2S and I got to spend another. Well, actually, you get the Flymore kit and all that. You're looking at probably like $1,300.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll bet more than that, Ron.
Well,
Now,
I'm trying to hold the price lines here.
Yeah, well, I agree with you because I always tend to guess low too, but
Yeah.
based on what we've seen with recent products,
Okay, well, I'll ask you this, Marcus. How close can the Air 3 be to the price of the Mavic 3 Classic? How much gap has to be between those two price points?
I don't know. They're slicing them and dicing them pretty cheap. So even if it's a couple $100, they'll probably do it. I mean,
yeah, Marcus is right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know that DJI will do, and Marcus has said this, and he's so spot on. He always says this when when we're hearing about a drone or talking about a drone coming out, is that DJI will throw something on this that we didn't know that we wanted that we want. Okay.
Mhm.
And they do this every time, and it's more of a software kind of a thing than hardware, but will they add some capabilities to this drone? Okay. Will they enable it to do more? And I'm just going to throw this curveball out here because I know, and I saw the video, and at first I was kind of like by it, but then it started making a little bit more sense to me. Okay. Russ from 51 Drones. Okay. He did a video on lifting, how much drones can lift.
Yeah, they were keys he bought on eBay or something.
Yeah. And, at first I was like, well, these are aerial photography and videography platforms. Why do you want to, lift stuff? All right. But, I took a step back, and now that makes a whole lot more sense. Now, for me, I want to get something that's going to have a release mechanism because I'm going to be able to drop some paracord over a tree limb at 75 feet to be able to pull an antenna up for my ham radio. Okay.
Mhm.
I want to have some kind of release mechanism on it. So there'll probably be some kind of aftermarket thing. But wouldn't it be nice if DJI included something like that? I know FIMI includes it with their 2022. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if DJI included something like that? That's, the part of the drone. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Let me be upfront about this. So let's just say it's a $1,500 Air 3S.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to risk my $1,500 drone to carry a fishing line or a paracord line or whatever it is, Bill? I'm saying for me personally, probably not.
That's
Now,
what the Mini 2S is for.
yeah. Well, or no, I'll take a step back. That's what the FIMI X8 SE is for.
Yeah.
It's a $400 drone as opposed to, hey, if you're doing something like that with it, all right, and if you're taking your fishing line out or whatever, it's a very different thing risking that than it is risking.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Marcus here. I don't think DJI will ever recommend or whatever the word is, condone lifting stuff up with their drones, let alone build it into it. I think that's says Care Refresh going to cover that and whatever. I don't think they'll ever officially approve anything like that on their drones. But
You know,
yes,
the other thing with this is, no, I did see this on the Air 2S and it's worked well. And if I'd consider doing something like that, I'm probably going to get an Air 2S before they run out of sight and use that, because there are some people that have done that and gotten a release mechanism and it's worked. Now, I can get them refurbished for what, $7.99, $8.99, so that would be a very viable option for me.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was thinking of in terms of maybe not necessarily a payload, but other options that DJI can add on to the drone, like when the Mavic 2 Enterprise series first came out, like the searchlights and the speaker and the strobe on these kind of things. DJI is not dumb, and they know that there is a ton of money with a lot of these aftermarket. I get emails, and I'm sure you guys do every day, from these companies. Hey, we'd like you to try a landing pad. Hey, we'd like you to try this case. Hey, we'd like you to try these propellers. Okay. Every single day I get emails, along those lines, so maybe DJI is going to maybe capitalize here, being able to add some things, like a strobe light, like a searchlight, like a speaker, or, I'm just throwing some things out there.
No, I perfectly agree with you. I'm surprised all their premium drones, we'll say drones are 1,000, don't come with a 3 statute mile light built right to the top of the drone.
I thought of that too. That is something that almost, particularly if you have like the Mavic 3 that has night mode, that should just be built into it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You shouldn't have to buy an aftermarket for something like that.
Right.
That should be.
I understand not putting on the budget drones, but anything over $1,000 should have that on.
Right.
Yeah. So, I think the sky's kind of wide open in terms of what DJI is going to add on to the Air 3. We'll stay tuned. We'll see what's going on with this. Now, earlier on, it was interesting. Somebody had posted there was an update to the Fimi Navi 2020 app. Okay. And, improve stability and performance and compatibility with phones. All right. I've heard, and, this was probably about a month or so ago, that there's going to be a new Fimi X8 SE 2020 coming out in August, September, kind of a time frame. And I'm real anxious to see this, because when I talked about this earlier, I said, Fimi's on the cusp right here. If they can put through a product that finally is going to 100%, take care of that doggone horizon tilt and get something out there. Their camera's never been an issue. And that's one thing I talked about with my son-in-law. I don't think the quality, the physical camera has never been an issue. The problem with that drone has been the gimbal and the gimbal assembly. And, that's the crux of the problem with horizon tilt on that drone. It's not software, it's that, and I'm thoroughly convinced about that. So I'm really kind of excited to see what Fimi's going to come out with this year, and if it's in a good price range and a price point, because I think that's something that I probably might get to use. So
I think Fimi needs a whole new redesign. They've been staying with that body style for too long now, and they need a redesign.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
What I'll say is with the 2022, that I think they finally got it right. Now, mine has had a pretty decent horizon, Bill. Certainly as good as any of my DJI drones. I fly my DJI drones, and they have a little tilt to them. So, and conversely, I got my original Hubsan Zeno out the other day, and the horizon was perfect. I mean, dead perfect. So it's weird how these manufacturers have forgot how to have a level horizon. Now, where I'm going to push back a little bit is on the camera. I'm telling you, I think the 2022 version is the best camera that Fimi has ever put on a drone. It's about the same quality as the original Mavic Pro back in the day. So, I mean, it's not really, I mean, there's your little mini drone has got better camera quality.
I agree 100%.
The problem with the current camera in the Fimi, the current one, it's one of those 1.7 inch apertures, and it's got an overexposure issue, whatever. As far as
Yeah.
I know, I mean, it probably is, but you don't hear of ND filters that much, and it really begs to have an ND filter with that wide open aperture when you're flying in the bright daylight. I've seen some of Marcus videos, and
You pointed that out to me,
they're
Ron, and I've
overexposed.
noticed
You know,
it.
nothing. I mean, Marcus at Auto should adjust for that or whatever. I mean, and it's not when he's just flying directly in the sun. Even when you're flying away from the sun, I still see the overexposure.
Well, they finally got their color science right, where it looks kind of normal. Their color science has always been really weird.
They used to have that cast with that color cast we talked about.
Right. So anyway, they're getting better, which is a good. Hey, and let me add to that. To me, it's acceptable because, I paid $430 for that drone. I mean, it's like, geez, okay, yeah.
That's you're getting a lot of dollar for your a lot of worth for your dollar. Here's something I want to throw at both of you guys. Okay, we haven't really heard this name for a while. Do you think we'll see anything or hear anything from Hubsan this year?
Well, we checked their website a few weeks back. I don't know if we did this on air. I think we did cover this on air one day. They have two of their models that have been around for a couple of years: the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro and the
Ace.
The Ace have this is on their website. They don't have any prices. You can't order, but they have. They call them refined?
They call it refined. I got a hold of my contact there and. I said, hey, I'd love to test one if you have one available. And you get these kind of generic answers. She says, oh, yeah, as soon as we have a sample, I'll send you one. But, I'm not, it could happen or not. You never know.
Yeah. So if these refined units have eliminated the problems that those drones have had in the past, maybe they don't need a new drone. They just need the old drone to work like it should have out of the gate.
I'll tell you the other thing, though, with regard to Hubsan, is nobody has said anything, but the fact that we can look at a U.S. version of their website now tells me that this EXO Hubsan partnership, may not be all it's cracked up to be. And
did you know that, Bill? They no longer hijack Hubsan's website. You can go to it now and not be redirected.
Because I haven't been out there for a while. I figured you guys probably know a little bit more about that than I do.
Well, check it out, but that's where you can find the refined versions of the Xeno Mini Pro and the Ace.
Well, and the thing is, the Ace is. Listen, I'm going to tell you, Bill and Ron, it's much like that FIMI camera in that it's good, it's okay, but it's about like the original Mavic Pro, so it's about like a 4 or 5 year old DJI camera. I mean, it's all right. And they talk about horizon tilt. They have horizon tilt issues. That the thing that Hubsan gives you is you can adjust it right there on the main page of their app. And once you adjust it, it seems like it holds for the rest of the flight. But it all. Here's the difference. Well, there's a lot of differences, but the biggest difference to me that always comes down to between those kind of drones and either DJI or Autel, it's the flipping camera, and they're not even close.
Yeah, I take the Mini 2 over either one in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You guys are right. Here's another. I'm gonna want to hit a couple of more before we close up shop. Autel, what do you think? Do you think Autel's going to come out with something? I mean, they've done a lot recently. Okay, so I'm not sure what we're going to see from them, if anything, this year.
Well, this is kind of on that subject. I was just talking to Ross on Facebook a few minutes ago, Ross Langdon, and I was complaining that we really need that smart controller that they talked about for the Nano Plus and the Lite series. And he said he doesn't think we're going to see it. And his reasoning was component shortages. Mm-hmm. So if they really are having component shortages, I don't know, would we see another drone? I don't know.
And Bill, I'm going to add in there that as far as Autel is concerned, they consider the Evo 2 Pro version 3 a new drone.
A new drone, they do.
You're right.
They did release a new drone or whatever, even though it looks exactly the same as the other two versions.
So Ron, I would put that in the same categories like you were talking about the FIMI. What Autel has done, They had the version 1, the version 2, and now the version 3. And it really is, in many ways, well, in some ways, it's a different drone. The innards are different, right? It's the same shell, it's the same body, probably the same motors, but they,
Yeah, I mean, famously, they had to go version 1 to version 2 because they could no longer buy the chips and stuff they used in version 1 during the shortage of the COVID. I think version 3 of the drones actually has some upgrades to it. The version 3,
incremental,
the one to get it actually
improvements.
has some upgrades.
It'd be fun to fly one, wouldn't it, Ryan? I'd love to, in fact, for you to fly one because you had your version 1 for a long time, and how different.
I mean, it flew fine on day 1, and it flew fine the day I sold it, whatever. Always flew well, So
Yeah.
I mean, you hear reports of not flying well. I mean, I can only speak to my drone. It always flew well.
Yeah.
It's not the wind defeater that the Air 2S and Mini 3 are, but as far as just hold itself in a wind, man, you put it up in a wind and it'll just stay put. It'll hold its ground as good as anything, but it won't, cut the wind like the top of line DJI drones that I just mentioned.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you. I know we're about done here, Bill, but I'm going to ask you guys both. So, of the consumer drones, I'm not talking about the Inspires and that kind of thing. What are the best drones for flying in the wind? I'm thinking of 2.
I can Mavic 3 without a doubt.
Ron?
Mavic 3 Air 2S.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The Mavic 3 and the Air 2S, best 2 drones in the wind.
And number 3 is not even close.
Not even close. Yeah, the best 2 that I've ever flown. Period. End of report. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would say the Mini 3 is the best of the Mini drones, but it's not much better than the Mini 2. It's slightly better than the Mini 2 in the wind, in my opinion. Marcus?
The
Mini 3 Pro, I'll say Pro. It doesn't matter. Mini 3 Pro, Mini 3.
Oh yeah.
It's the best,
no, I totally agree with
in the wind, but it's only slightly better than the Mini 2.
It's incremental, isn't it, Ron?
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like you fly it and you go, wow, this is way better, but it is better, and it is a little bit faster. Yeah.
Is the original Mini SE as good as the Mini 2 in the wind, or is it a step down?
It's a step down, and it's just like what you described with the one they're doing now. It's got the same motors, it's got the same body, it's got the same battery.
Oh, they crippled it in software.
They just crippled it. Yeah. And in fact, I actually did a test on that. I've got a video where I put them side by side and tested top speed and so forth.
Yeah. And the Nano, when I first got the Nano, I had problems with the wind, but through firmware upgrades and me learning how to activate sport mode in non-video priority, now I can say it's almost over the Mini 2. It's slightly below the Mini 2, but it's close.
They've improved it a lot. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And I think with regard to not just the Autel Nano Plus, but the Light series of drones, what holds the Autel drones back from being the equivalent in the wind is that they don't allow them to pitch as far. They don't pitch as far forward. And I'm sure that's probably a limitation of the gimbal. They don't want to.
You don't see the gimbal issues of doing.
They don't want to kick the gimbal, right?
Bill, I flew the Mini 2 the other week just to try out that new app update. And by the way, Lauren said there's a Fly app date. He put it in Drone Nation.
I saw that, but I just went out and I showed him on the show, and I brought it up. It's V1.9.4, and that's the current one.
That's the current one, yeah.
But okay. Anyhow, so I was so I was flying a Mini 2 recently, and I put in sport mode, and I forgot. You should have seen the gimbal in sport mode. When I put in sport mode, head in the wind, I forgot. I forgot about this gimbal.
It's that gimbal immediately, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah.
One last question to pose to you guys here. Skydio. Do you think we'll see anything new in the consumer space from Skydio this year?
Boy, who knows? There were all those rumors about a mini version, but I wouldn't even hazard a guess.
I mean, I don't have any real information outside of just
I don't either.
Standard rumor mill or whatever. If something's coming from Skydio, I have no idea what, when, the price, anything.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they retooled the Skydio 2s, and they called them, I don't know,
Or the
just
Skydio Plus or whatever.
Skydio
Yeah.
Plus.
Hey, on our show last night, somebody in the chat, Bill Grace, made a great. He has one, and he does mapping. I had no idea. You know why the Skydio could do mapping? Skydio 2 Plus could do mapping just like those. What do you call the drones that have the sensor?
Mechanical shutter.
Mechanical shutter. They're as good as mechanical shutter because the Skydio 2 will stop the drone and take the picture, where the DJI drones try to take the picture and keep going. That's why you need the mechanical shutter. But Skydio can avoid it by having their drones stop and take the picture. That's how sophisticated their software is. So you could use a Skydio 2 in the same place as you would need a mechanical shutter with another drone for mapping.
Yes.
The other thing about the Skydio is that the camera is starting to again. It's the camera is starting to show its age.
Right. I guess for that mapping applications, that the one on sensor is not as important as getting the still picture or whatever, the no rolling shutter.
Well,
because the thing's taking 700 pictures, so I'm sure it could blend enough pictures together to get a very sharp and clear image.
Yeah, one of the things that I want to say before we close here, this shortage is so spread out and it's so wide. I'll give you an example from ham radio. All right. One of the manufacturers, there's two big manufacturers of ham radios, and they're both in Japan. And one of them announced that they were discontinuing a model, and it was almost like instantaneous. The three major outlets that sell ham radios in the United States, they were gone. They were off the shelves. And then because of a component shortage, I had gotten one of the ones that I wanted about 2 weeks ago. That's not available until April now. Okay. So, this isn't just, this is pretty far reaching and far wide. We went past a big car dealership on our way back from our anniversary dinner. And it's one of the larger Toyota dealerships here. There was maybe 25, 30 cars on the lot. Okay.
That's typical down here too.
Car dealerships have no car. They just don't have any cars.
But I mean, I'm going old school here. When I was young, even before I was before I was 21, in my small town, car lots weren't filled with, they didn't have like a parking lot full of cars. They had 25, 30 cars. This having hundreds of cars a lot, something that came down the road. That's not from the old days.
Well, I got smart and I found out the dealership where I bought my Highlander, it's the number one dealership in the state of Florida. So they get allocation ahead of everybody else. So, and I've already got marked on my calendar 6 months before my lease is up to call my salesperson. I'm going to call them up. I'm going to get a deposit on what I want. So when time comes around, that's going to be sitting there waiting and ready to go. So I'm going to be play it smart this time around. So closing thoughts, guys.
Well, I'm just looking. I don't mean to interrupt, but they're looking at a comment from Mike Wright here that he's talking about the difference between the Skydio for mapping and he's talking about the time it would stop to take every picture, which is a great point. And
I still not through all software. And Bill Grace is saying that software, I believe you said, was either $2,000 or $3,000 a year to get that from Skydio. I mean, Mike, I don't know anything about it except what Bill Grace said last night in the chat.
Well, as far as that, Bill, conclusion, gosh, I'm just hoping for some decent weather and the wind to die down and some sunshine so I can get out and fly. I'm getting the itch, man. I want to fly.
Yeah. And I'll second that. I mean, I don't need a Mini 2SC. I don't need a Skydio Mini. I don't need any of those drones. All I need is some good weather to fly the great drone. I already have the Mavic 3, Mini 3 Pro, Autel Nano. I mean, I got great drones to fly. And actually, Bill, this weekend I'll be packing the car up and I'll be heading down to the Sunshine State. I want you to clear the weather off before I get there next week, Bill.
I was going to say, you and Susan are probably going to be packing up and getting ready to head down to Florida. I mean,
come down early.
I envy you, Ron. Ron said you got plenty of drones. You don't need any more. I could use a couple more drones, but
will they fit in the room there?
Oh, I'd find a way.
Well, I don't need to get rid of them. I'm just saying, I got perfectly good drones here, whatever.
I do too.
I don't know how the Air 3 is going to make me a better drone pilot or a better drone photographer than what I have now. Sometimes it's better to go out there and maybe work on your skills and whatever than it is to buy new hardware.
Hey, stop the presses. Johnny Drone Flyer has a recommendation for Ron. So
There it is.
there it
Oh.
is.
Johnny, let me know when the V-Copter 2s come. Bill, any rumors of the V-Copter 2?
The V-Copter 2 with the Micro Four Thirds sensor, Ron.
I think Johnny's under NDA with whoever makes V-Copter.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's trying to sell his.
Yeah, he could be a spokesperson.
Yeah, he's a spokesperson for them now. So that's what that's the rumor going around. I don't know if it's true or not, but
Bill, what's your closing thoughts for the night?
I was gonna say I had some great weather this weekend and was able to get out and fly. It was the first time, Ron, since I had COVID that I was able to get out and fly.
Wow.
It's been a month. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally been a month since I've been able to get out to fly. I mean, we've had nice weather, but the weekend before, where I was actually feeling good, had the 50-mile-an-hour winds. So there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But then this weekend, it was just picture perfect on Sunday. Got out there. It was so nice. I got a couple of nice flights in, got a couple of videos that I'm going to put together, which made me real happy. I was real pleased to be able to do that. One of the other things that I want to mention, go ahead, Marcus, go ahead.
Well, I just had one more thing that I just thought of, and this is a little bit somber. Our friend Steve Gardner over at Drone Seekers, right before we were going to do the show on Sunday, his mother passed away.
Oh,
so if you guys think about it, go over there on the Drone Seekers Facebook page and maybe leave a condolence for Steve. I know he would appreciate it. Yeah,
sure thing. Thanks for mentioning that. One of the other things that I wanted to mention in closing here is just, I would be remiss because I know Captain Ray's been talking about it in the chat, is the South Florida Drone Meetup is fast approaching. April 1st is right around the corner here. I mean, we're about a little over a month away from that. So, if you guys need to make a reservation, go to the South Florida Drone Meetup. There's a Facebook group. Ray has it pinned up there for the hotel and information on how to book rooms and on all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you guys do that if you want to come down. I know Ray has said you probably have I think Ray has said he's got about over 100.
It's over 100 now, yeah.
Right now. So go ahead, Marcus.
But book at that hotel. It's a good deal. But the other thing that I wanted to bring up, Bill, is with regard, I'm going to come to the meetup a little bit early, and my friend Ron Brown, right down there, he knows all of Captain Ray's secret spots, and he'd take me to a couple of them.
I even know secret spot number 1.
Just
don't tell Mark Fisher. I don't think he's out there tonight.
We'll be quiet. We'll be quiet. We won't say anything. Ray, we won't say a thing. Okay, promise. All right. Guys, thanks so much. Appreciate all your great comments tonight in the chat. You guys were super tonight. It's great. It was really great to get out and fly. But everyone, take care and have a great day. And it's always a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.
Fly safe.